sitting 2 feet away from her, pretending not to hear what she just said into that hot mic during her team sync. God, I hope he doesn't propose. How do you politely refuse a man who pays your rent? That wasn't just a sentence. That was an autopsy. Her voice was hushed, but the betrayal was loud. And then her coworker chimed in. Just marry him, and then divorce him. They laughed. They laughed. She came into the room like nothing had happened. But the best part? She had no idea I'd heard a thing. The next morning, she woke up like any other day. Except this time, her card was declined. Her phone was blowing up with missed calls. 59, to be exact. Her best friend, her mom, her gym trainer, the one she says smells too good to just be a trainer, all asking the same question. What happened? Me? I was already gone. Left a note on the counter. You won't have to politely refuse a proposal. You'll just have to survive without one. Left her with the keys. Changed the locks. Froze the joint accounts. Canceled the utilities. And the ring? Sold. Got enough back to book a solo trip to Iceland, because if I'm gonna be cold, it may as well be beautiful. You ever watch a person unravel in real-time? It's like watching a high-rise lose power floor by floor. First the confidence goes. Then the excuses. Then the frantic dialing, the breathless voicemail messages, the crocodile tears that hit the marble floor a little too loud to be real. That's what I saw from across the street. Yeah, I stayed nearby for a while. Call it closure. Call it curiosity. Call it morbid satisfaction. I don't care. After everything I gave her, watching her pace in that overpriced silk robe like a caged actress in a play she never rehearsed for, that was justice, not pity. Her hands were shaking. Probably trying to log into her bank app again. Probably realizing the kind, naive man she and her little desk-laughing hyenas joked about had a little more spine than she expected. She didn't know I already forwarded the lease termination notice to the landlord. Gave her 30 days, like a gentleman. 30 days to figure out how to live without a backup plan. Or me. The first message came in at 8:03 a.m. Babe? What's going on? My card's not working and I can't reach you. Is everything okay? I stared at the screen for a full minute. That was the same voice that whispered, I hope he doesn't propose. Funny how fast we go from plotting exits to begging for explanations. By noon, the text had evolved. I didn't mean what I said. You know I say stupid stuff sometimes. Please, let's just talk. Don't punish me for one moment. I was drunk, tired, and venting. We have something real. Don't throw it away. She kept using we. That made me laugh. We is a word built on honesty. On loyalty. You don't get to use we when you were practicing your escape route in whispers and giggles. Then, silence. For an hour. That's when the panic must have set in. Because after that hour, boom. I'm sorry. Please, just tell me what you need. I'll do anything. Oh, sweetheart. You already did everything. You just didn't think the walls had ears. I got a call from her best friend later that night. Voicemail. Voice trembling like a kid caught lying. She's a wreck. She didn't mean it, okay? She's scared. We all say dumb things sometimes. She's sorry, really sorry. And that was rich, coming from the same girl who once told her to lock it down and bleed him slow. I'd heard that too. Same hot mic, different day. I didn't reply. Not because I was angry. Anger left me the moment I closed that laptop. What I felt now was something deeper. Cold. Precise. Like someone who just finished stitching shut the wound and was now admiring the scar. She tried the soft route first. Regret, remorse, rewritten history. But when that didn't work, she got mean. So you're just gonna ghost me like a coward? You were never that great to begin with. I was just doing what I had to do to survive. There it was. The real her. Not the sweet, I just need a little help until I get back on my feet version. Not that you're the only one who ever saw me for me charade. Just a self-serving grifter angry that her golden goose didn't stay asleep. And me? I was on a flight to Iceland by then. Window seat. Whiskey in hand. Watching the clouds shift while her messages kept pouring in. You know what's scarier to people like her than being alone? Being exposed. See, heartbreak they can spin. They're masters at playing victim, curling up with a blanket, some mascara-streaked selfies, and a quote about choosing yourself, while a fresh simp lines up to take my place. But public truth? Receipts? That's the one thing they can't control. It peels off the pretty. Shows people who they really are behind that Instagram-filtered facade. So when I said I wasn't angry, that didn't mean I was finished. A week after the card declined and her calls went unanswered, her little curated world started leaking. Not because I aired it out myself, no. That'd be too easy. Too expected. I just nudged a few things. It started with the work laptop. She'd left it open. Remember? The one with the hot mic. I didn't close it out right away. I hit record. Not out of spite, out of self-respect. A time-stamped, crystal clear recording of her whispering how she hoped I wouldn't propose because, quote, how do you politely refuse a man who pays your rent? And then her coworker's cackling response, just marry him and divorce him later. I didn't need to say anything. Just forwarded that recording anonymously to her HR. They have a no harassment, no fraternization policy. Turns out joking about manipulating partners for financial gain on company calls? Not a good look. Especially not when your supervisor is also your work husband. 2 days later, her status changed on LinkedIn. No longer marketing manager at Summit and Gray. Now, just open to work. Tough world without that rent payer, huh? Next came the apartment. She tried to play tough. Told her friends she left me. Said I got clingy, controlling. Claimed I'd lost it when she started leveling up in life. But when you're suddenly staying with your cousin in a one-bedroom walk-up, after posting photos from Bali 3 months ago in a sponsored bikini, people notice. So I gave her one last gift, a goodbye text. Don't worry. I'm not mad. You just taught me the value of silence. And the power of exit. That silence? It's like a bomb. No argument. No closure. Just her echo bouncing off the walls. Of course, she tried to flip the narrative. He overreacted. I was just venting. Everyone says dumb stuff at work. Yeah? Then explain why your dumb joke cost you your job, your lifestyle, and the man who literally paid to keep your life from collapsing like a fluffed-up Jenga tower. Her friends stopped posting with her. Slowly, they faded too, because no one wants to catch heat when the ship's already halfway underwater. She still posts sometimes. Brunch pics with captions like finding myself or healing era. Funny. I found myself too. Turns out I wasn't the fool, I was the final favor. It always happens. After the anger fades. After the fake empowerment posts stop getting likes. After the replacement guys ghost her because they realize she's not mysterious, just emotionally bankrupt. She reaches out again. Different tone this time. Soft. Hesitant. Like a burglar tapping on the door they used to break into, hoping you're too lonely to remember what they stole. It was a cold Thursday evening when her message came in. Iceland was quiet that night, snow outside, fire crackling, whiskey warming my chest. And there it was. Hey, can we talk? Just once. Please. Just once. That's how they always phrase it. Like it's a favor. Like it's some tiny request instead of the last thread they're hoping you'll grab so they can pull themselves back into your life. I didn't answer right away. I stared at the fire for a while. Let the flames dance through the fog of everything we'd been. The whisper. The laugh. The silence after. Then I typed. What for? She replied in less than 30 seconds. Because I was stupid. Because I was scared. Because you didn't deserve that. She was right. I didn't. But now she wanted to confess. Cry. Apologize. Probably twisted into a tragic misunderstanding. Some movie moment where the guy sees how hard things were for her and gives love another chance. Nope. I agreed to meet. But not to reconcile. I wanted closure. Real, final, no turning back closure. And I wanted to look her in the eye when I gave it to her. We met at the little coffee shop where we used to go every Sunday. The one she once called ours. She showed up looking exactly how I remembered, only now. The polish didn't shine as bright. Her eyes didn't sparkle like they used to. She wore guilt like perfume, strong, desperate, and trying too hard to cover the rot underneath. She smiled weakly. Hey. She talked first. Always did. She apologized. For the hot mic. For the joke. For taking advantage of me. Said the pressure to keep up with her friends made her do stupid things. Said she'd never meant to hurt me. Claimed she was broken, and I was the one good thing in her life. I let her finish. I didn't interrupt. Didn't lash out. Just listened. Then I slid a small envelope across the table. What's this? She asked. Proof you were right, I said. Inside? A printed screenshot of the bank account I'd opened in my name alone. It showed the down payment I just put on a mountain home. A note under it read, paid for by the man you didn't want to marry. Her face fell. She looked up, lips trembling. So that's it. That's it. You're really done. I smiled. You were done first. I just didn't hear it until the mic was on. You know that silence after a storm? When the wind dies down, the branches stop thrashing, and all that's left is debris and memory. That's where I lived for a while. It wasn't peace, not at first. It was hollow. Quiet in that unsettling way, like standing in the middle of your own ruins wondering if you should cry, or if crying would even matter anymore. But then, I got up. I moved out of the city, found a small place in the mountains, snow-covered pines, a fireplace that actually crackled, and enough silence to hear myself think again. Not the kind of silence she left behind. This one healed. The house wasn't flashy. It didn't need to be. Every piece of furniture, every tile I laid, every wall I painted, it was mine. Not bought to impress, not decorated for someone else's Instagram feed. Just mine. I spent weeks unplugged. No social media. No friends calling to ask if I was okay with that tone in their voice. No ex-girlfriends popping up to check in once they caught wind of the drama. Just me, my tools, and the kind of peace that doesn't have to be loud to feel real. I started journaling. At first, just thoughts. Then, letters. Letters to the man I used to be. The man who thought love meant sacrifice with no receipt. Who mistook loyalty for submission. Who believed that if you gave enough, people would love you more for it. That man needed to hear the truth. And maybe, so did other men. So I started a blog. Just for fun. Just a quiet little place to post thoughts about self-worth, betrayal, rebuilding, healing. I didn't use my real name. Didn't want the attention. But something happened. It blew up. Emails started flooding in, men, women, even couples. People who'd been broken like I was. People who'd stayed too long, loved too hard, lost too much. And somehow, my words, the raw, jagged ones, were helping them find theirs. One guy wrote, "Reading your story was like looking in a mirror I'd been avoiding for years. I finally left her. Finally started over. Thank you." Another said, "You taught me how to stop asking for closure from people who only speak in wounds." I sat in my little cabin, laptop glowing in the dark, and realized something. She may have broken my heart, but she built my platform. It wasn't revenge. Not the ugly kind. Not the tabloid, burn it all down kind. It was evolution. The kind of revenge that doesn't need applause or flame. It just lives better. Louder. Freer. On your own terms. And she knew it too. She messaged me once more. "I read your blog. I know it's you. I'm glad you're doing well, but I wish things were different. You ever walk into a room and realize, for the first time in a long time, you're not holding your breath anymore?" That was me the night I met Evelyn. No, it wasn't romantic. Not at first. No fireworks, no fate-driven run-in under a pouring rainstorm. Just a coffee shop in a quiet town, a book I'd read a dozen times, and a woman 2 tables over arguing with her laptop because the Wi-Fi was out. She caught me smirking. "I swear it worked earlier," she said, half laughing, half exasperated. "It's the building," I replied. "This place is where signals go to die." We both laughed. And it was the kind of laugh I hadn't heard in a long time mine. Evelyn wasn't a whirlwind. She was grounding. No fake lashes, no 5-inch heels, no curated stories to make herself seem mysterious. She was just real. She didn't ask what I did for a living until the 3rd time we saw each other. Didn't care about what I drove, what I wore, or who I used to be. She cared about what I was reading. She cared about the why behind my quiet. And I didn't feel like I had to sell myself to be interesting. There were no auditions this time. We took it slow. Not out of fear, but because we respected slow. She asked questions that didn't feel like traps. And when I told her I'd been through something ugly, not the details, just the outline, she didn't pity me. She said, "Sounds like she lost something she didn't know how to value." Then sipped her tea and looked me right in the eye. No games. No bait. Just truth. For the first time in years, I let someone see behind the wall. Not the whole fortress, not all at once. But brick by brick, I let her in. She never tried to bulldoze her way through. She never treated my healing like an inconvenience. And when she found out about the blog, yeah, she figured it out, she didn't flinch. She said, "That took guts." Then she asked if I'd ever consider turning it into a book. That night, I wrote the first chapter. Not about her. Not about the ex. About me. About the man who was left in the rubble and still stood up. About how betrayal doesn't have to end you, it can redefine you, if you let it. I won't lie and say I stopped thinking about the past. Sometimes it crept in like a draft under the door, unexpected, uninvited. But Evelyn didn't chase it out. She sat with me in the silence. Let me feel it. And then, when I was ready, she'd say something soft. Grounding. "I'm not her. And you're not broken." It sat in a drawer for 196 days. Wrapped in black velvet. Tucked beneath old receipts and a broken watch. I couldn't bring myself to touch it, not out of heartbreak, but out of defiance. Like it was some cursed artifact, a monument to my own stupidity. Funny how something so small can carry so much weight. A circle of metal, meant to mean forever, and it never even got the chance to lie on her finger. It stayed in that drawer while my life moved forward,